Hello everyone, so in this video I'll be showing you how to point your domain name into your server and you can see the website live. In my previous video I showed you how to do an automatic deployment through GitHub based on your server. I'm using in my example Linode server and I never showed you how to point the website that you deployed automatically if you're working on your environment for your projects. So let's say for example you have a live website, a website that you do for a customer and it's live and you want to work on it on your local machine, and then whenever you push through GitHub it's gonna do an automatic deployment through the server and then the user or the customer is able to see directly the changes. So this step will be showing you the last step, how to point your domain into the server. So please just bear with me. At this video I won't be able to show you a real life scenario. It's because I don't have any type of domain that I need to point, and it's gonna take me a lot of time. So I wanted to do this video to be showing you because I felt that you don't know probably how to do it. There's a lot of people that don't know how to do it, and this is a very good example if you have customers and you don't want to struggle in research. Okay, so don't forget your domain name. You need to update your DNS, okay, the A record, to be able to point it to the IP address of your server, and from there by the steps that I'm gonna be doing, directly the server will read the domain that you will be now pointing, and it's gonna be able to render the website wherever you put it. So the first step you need to do, you need to go into the root of your server. So the root, if you do an ls, you'll be able to see all the folder, okay, right here. So now I'm gonna go into etc ngx and then the sites available. So now you're in the sites available, and what does that mean? So ngx have two types. You have the sites enabled and you have the sites available. So in the sites available, it's all your websites that are available, that once the DNS is pointing, the server is able to read them and tell them, okay, so now you're here, you can get that website from us, or if you want, it's enabled. So now what you need to do, so you need to do touch, it's creating that file. So touch, let's say demo.com, okay, so demo.com, what's gonna happen now, it's gonna create that file that is called demo.com. okay, so the next thing you need to do is nano demo.com, because I want to edit that file and add some configuration to it. So there's basic configuration for generic websites, but if you're using, like for example, Vue.js or Angular or React or any type of other framework, it could be a bit different. Okay, you need to just tweak it to be able to read from the exact place and the exact file. If you have an HTML website, a PHP website, it's very generic. So what you need to do first, you need to create like an object server, and then you need to add that you need to listen to port 80, okay, and also add here 80. Sorry, give me a second. All right, and then you need to say that the server name is demo.com, and I want you to read also if it's www.demo.com, okay, and I want you to go to the root, and this is very, very important or crucial. Okay, so the root I'm specifying where is the folder of my website. So in my previous video, I showed you that I'm putting all my website into my home. So I could have like 10 different websites, and all of them they are in folders. And now you need to tell the server that it will be in this place. So you have to access to that place to be able to see my website, right? So my example, it's home/demo.com. For you, it could be www/demo.com. It could be anything that you want, okay? So this is where your application is, okay? All your files, so HTML, everything. And then I'll tell it to use charset UTF-8. And for the index, because once it's going into this folder, okay, where's your application, it need to read from somewhere. Like for example, in PHP, it's gonna read from index.php. If it's in HTML, it's gonna read from index.html. For my example, it's a Vue.js application, so I'm gonna do index.html, index.htm, but this is very generic, okay? It doesn't have to be the same for everybody. You need to look on the internet to see which one fits better for you. And now for the location, just gonna open another object, and the root is home demo.com, and the location, like for my example, it's gonna read from something is called dist. And try files URE and index.html. Okay, so this is very, very generic. Like I said, it could be very different from each one of you, okay, but for my example, you don't need to worry about this, okay? So the error log, I want to log them. So if there's some error, I want to log them into ngx app error.log, and for the access log, I want to log them also on ngx, and I'm gonna call it access log.log. Okay, and don't forget to close this. Okay, and then when you need to do, it's Control X, because I'm using Nano, I'm not using Vim. And yes, and now you should have all your information into demo.com. So I'm just gonna cat demo.com just to make sure that I have everything I need. So now you see that my file is not empty. So everything I added, it's there, okay? Now what you need to do is, I'm just gonna go back here into NGX. And like I told you, in NGX, you have the sites enabled. If you don't have the sites enabled, the domain, when is requesting from the server, if you don't have the website enabled, you won't be able to see the website. Okay, it's like a restriction. So you need to enable that website. There's a lot of people, what they do on projects is, if the customer for X reason doesn't pay him, or you need to drop that website and you don't want it on anymore, you could go to sites enabled and remove your website. But before to do that, you need to enable your website to be able to see it, right? So it's like active, inactive. So what you need to do, let's go back to sites available. I'm gonna go cd sites available. So I'm just gonna clear this. So now I'm gonna do a sudo ln/s-s. So I'm gonna do demo.com, because I'm specifying which file I want to do a symlink with, and I'm gonna go back to sites enabled/demo.com. So what I'm saying here, I wanted to create a symlink between this file, which is demo.com, in the sites available, and I wanted you to put it into the sites enabled. So it's gonna create like a symlink between those two files, and they're gonna share the same information. So you just click enter. So now everything is there. So I'm just gonna go back to sites enabled, and just to make sure that I have all the information that enabled. Okay. So I'm just gonna do an ls. So now you can see I have demo.com, right? So now one of the last step you need to do, you have still two steps. Okay, they're very easy. You need to do a sudo ngx t. Okay. Too many levels. So when you do that, okay, let's say ngx. Give me a second. ngx help. Okay. So you see what is T. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to test the configuration and exit, right? So what it does, it's gonna test the configuration that you have. So now it's telling me that the demo.com, it failed the configuration. Why? Because too many levels of symbolic link. Okay. So because I'll show you why. Okay. Because my object, it need to be aligned, right? I just did it through the console. Okay, you need to be careful with that. You need to align your object properly. So if I want to show you a quick example right here, just gonna copy something and I'm gonna open Notepad. So this is what we're doing, right? So you see how the brackets are, and you see how the space between them. So you need to make sure to have this type, because, and also I forget to put this, okay, just to make sure. So this is why it's good to test your configuration before trying to see if it's live, because you might have some errors and this could help you. Okay, so I'm just gonna clear this out and go back to what we're doing. So let's just say that we did some configuration and everything is working and we test. So when you need to do the last part is you need to do a sudo systemctl restart ngx. So basically you need to restart ngx in order to see like everything is there. So because now you have a new domain that you added, you need to restart your ngx to be able to see those changes. Because if you don't do this way, you might try to add your domain and try to access and you're like, it's not working, what's happening, and it could take time for you. So you need to restart your ngx to be able to see the changes that you provided. I'm not gonna perform this because now I added the domain that I don't have. I need to remove it back before I do. So guys, I will be putting the previous video of the automatic deployment. So this will help you a lot, because if you're working on your environment and you have some customers that have some websites online, or you want to put a website online, you do those steps, you follow, it's gonna make your life so much easier when you work on freelance, on projects. You just set up a GitHub, you work locally, you push, it's gonna deploy directly into your server, then you point the domain, you do those steps, and your website is live. And every time you're gonna push through GitHub on local changes, your website's gonna be live in a second. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any comment, please do, and if you have any request, please let me know. I will try to make a video as soon as possible.